This is MJ. We're going to do a great show for you today of automotive car related news. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, let me put a comment. Hold on. All right. So here we go. Let's get right into it. Um, Actually, no. Just wanted to tell y'all Dane is not going to be here today. My co host, he is off deer hunting and he will return uh, probably on Sunday. So let's hope that he got something. If you guys never had deer, it is delicious. It is very good. I thought that people just used to go hunting just to be macho, but no, it's for food. And plus it's to control the deer population because if they don't hunt them, they're going to be all over the place and running into the highway and getting hit. So we got to conserve the environment by thinning the herd a little bit. And plus, also, if there's too many of them, they'll eat all the food that's available for them, and then they'll starve. Some of them will starve. So there's only but so many deer that should be out there. All right. Anyway, this is today's first story. We have several stories. I have four stories for you today, and also in between the stories, I have a little bit of cool, just cool automotive related things. See, where's the one I want? Not that one. There we go. All right, let's get to the point here. Toyota is going to be replacing their 8-speed automatic transmissions in their 2024 Tacomas. They were having some problems with these vehicles. We'll talk about what the problems were. But first, let's talk about this technical service bulletin. So, if you have one of 6 diagnostic trouble codes, like, when your check engine light comes on, it logs a code in your car's computer. So if you have one of those 6 codes, you'll be able to get this repair. And for this repair, the entire transmission and torque converter assembly will be changed. And that's for the 2024 Toyota Tacoma with the automatic transmission. So let's look at this article from Car Scoops. So they said, yeah, the Toyota Tacoma is supposed to be reliable and dependable. That is true. There were some transmission issues out of the gate. Toyota swiftly jumped in and they are going to be fixing these vehicles. This isn't a safety recall, but it looks like they will be fixing the transmission. They just had a problem with the Toyota Tundra engines, and this is not good news for Toyota, but I think they'll be able to get through this. So here's the article states, dealers have been informed that vehicles eligible for repairs must have at least one of the 6 diagnostic trouble codes present. These codes indicate that either a pressure control solenoid actuator is stuck or a torque converter clutch actuator is stuck in the off position. So there we go. So yeah, they're going to be replacing the whole transmission. This obviously this doesn't apply to the manual transmission. but yeah, that's the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. So yeah, there it is, the Tacoma. My friend Dominic loves those Tacomas. He had one of the older ones from like the 80s, and he was helping me move my riding mower, and his frame cracked. It was like all rusty, and I noticed he was dog tracking. Like when you're dog tracking, because I was driving my car behind his truck, and the truck was like slanted and going straight, and I was like, dude, your truck is dog tracking? He was like, what? And then we looked underneath, and the frame rail had cracked right under here. But that one, there was a giant rust recall for that one too. But they get to the bottom of these things, and I think the Tacoma it'll be all right. They'll fix it. Let's see. let's look at, all right, so this guy on Tacoma 4G.com, this is a forum. He put some pictures of the actual TSB, and it looks like it's these trouble codes: P0747F, P079571, et cetera, et cetera. You can see them. But yeah, these are pressure control solenoids, torque converter, clutch actuator. So yeah, those. Mhm. So these are the VINs that are affected. This number 3, first number, I believe that's the ones that are made in Mexico. They recently started making these Tacomas in Mexico. Now, I don't know if that was the problem. I'm not sure what actually was the root cause of this problem, but they're made in Mexico. I'm not saying it's Mexico's fault, but that's just where they're made. Not sure what caused this problem. So this was the actual problem. This was reported to Road and Track back in August. So let's see. Official complaints have collaborated this initial complaint with dozens of 2024 Tacoma owners, in particular, reporting a sudden shift into neutral, stalling, or being stuck in high gears with little ability to move. Forum post, official NHTSA complaints, and a recent report from the drive also indicate that wait times for a new transmission can be as long as 4 months, leaving some afflicted new Tacoma owners without their trucks for an extended period of time. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So, yeah, if you have a Toyota Tacoma and your check engine light is on, or if you are having some transmission problems, promptly report to your local dealership so they can read the code to see if you are eligible for a new transmission. So there we go. Next story. All right. All right. So this is like this is an interesting short that I saw on Instagram. This guy, he has no arms, but he is doing a job as a mechanic. That is amazing. And I take my hat off to this guy. This is Dennis Kravchenko, and he is on Instagram. Let's see, we got to mute the music because it's copyrighted music, but let's check this out. Look at that. No arm mechanic. That is amazing. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. His feet are like, he got the, he has a real control over his feet, like a real, he's using his feet like hands. That is amazing, bro. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's crazy. So hats off to this man. I'm telling you, some people who, you might think they are disabled, but if they really put their mind to it, they could do a lot. I saw this one guy I saw when I worked at Cummins. One of my test engines was in a forklift on in a sod field. Like, so this guy, he grew grass, and then he would cut the grass up, put it in rolls, and then like sell it to like football teams where they have their stadium, and they put natural grass down. Well, the grass has got to be like really, really perfect grass. Like, so yeah, he had a sod farm, and he had arms, but like he couldn't walk all the way. Like, so he had like these braces, and he would use his braces and just walk around his farm and just get everything done with his forklift. So yeah, just having a different type of body doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to be able to do work. A lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I can't do work. I'm disabled." A lot of them are not actually disabled. They are actually just scamming. This guy I knew in Philly did that. He told them that he had He used to get random headaches all the time, but he didn't get no headaches. He just didn't want to pay his child support. That's what happened. Mm, what a sad excuse. All right, let's go back to cars. Back to cars. What is next for automotive news? Toyota plans plug-in hybrids with over 120 miles of electric range. That is amazing. So that is this is a story from motorauthority.com if you want to check it out. But let's check this out. So at a presentation on Friday's outing, Toyota's strategy for the upcoming decade. Uh, Toyota's chief technology officer said the company plans plug-in hybrids that will be able to travel more than 124 miles on electric power alone. So that is amazing. He didn't say which test cycle the range would be achieved. The article states that's likely based on the WLTP cycle used overseas, which is more lenient than the APA cycle. So yeah, they're probably right about that. I remember when the range numbers came out, GM was supposed to be making a Equinox hybrid plug-in. Well, they do make it, but it's in China, and they were saying the range on that was like over 100 miles, uh, electric only on that hybrid. But yeah, it's probably based on that easier cycle. So I will show you what their current range is in a minute. But let's look at this article. So uh, Nakajima Nakajima-san said Toyota wants to position its future plug-in hybrids as practical electric cars. The typical owner would likely only use the vehicle in electric mode for most trips, with the internal combustion engine being there as a backup for occasional longer trips or for trips in regions where charging infrastructure is lacking. Said the company is developing more efficient batteries for its next generation electric cars set to begin arriving in 2026. So 2 years from now, they're making more efficient batteries for their next gen of electric cars. The batteries are expected to increase range by a factor of 2 compared to Toyota's current EVs. So yeah, so what are the current ones? The BZ4X, I think that one gets about 260 miles of range. If correct me if I'm wrong. So double that would be over 500 miles of range, which would be pretty good. That would be pretty good if they could do that. Yeah, so they are looking to do that. They said its first application for a solid state battery would be in a hybrid vehicle. So they're going to try to make solid state batteries. They're developing them now. The extra energy density of solid state batteries mean they can deliver much more range than a liquid type battery of the same weight. So they're planning on pursuing mass production of hydrogen electric powertrains, albeit for commercial vehicles such as medium and heavy duty trucks and not passenger vehicles. All right, that's a good idea. Yeah, they made the passenger vehicle hydrogen car. What is that thing called? The Mirai. I think it's the Toyota Mirai. And yeah, that was kind of a disaster. It was not even their fault because they don't have the infrastructure for hydrogen cars. Like the stations were having all type of problems, and Toyota can't control that. They don't own a hydrogen station. They can't make the state of California make a whole bunch of hydrogen stations everywhere for these cars. So, people get upset. Some people actually, even some of the owners sued Toyota. I did a story on that one. They said they were told that it was going to be easy to refuel their vehicles, and it was not. But I don't know. They should have did their research and found out there was like 7 stations in the whole state of California. And I heard even 6. A lot of those are even closing down now. So it's over for hydrogen, at least as far as passenger cars. Looks like they're going to try to make them medium and heavy duty trucks, which makes sense. If if you have a fleet of trucks and the fleet has a hydrogen station, it's not a public station, it's like their personal station. Well, then, yeah, then you can have a hydrogen truck. I mean, it was nothing wrong with the Toyota Mirai. It's just the infrastructure is not there. So yeah, that is Toyota. All right, let's look at this. This is a store. This is a Chevy Camaro convertible taken out by the Arkansas State Police after a high-speed chase. Uh-oh. Let's see. Where is it? Get out of here, Ed. All right, I think this is it. I'm going to fast forward to the good part. That, forward. All right, so this is an old school Camaro convertible. Why would you why would you get chased in a convertible? If you flip over, there's no roof to protect you. You should have just pulled over. Oh, he's gonna get I don't think you're gonna wait, is that a 6-cylinder? I think that's a 6-cylinder Camaro. Why would you try to outrun anybody in a 6-cylinder Camaro? I think that's a 6-cylinder. Like, look, I'm trying to look at the muffler. You guys, I think that's a 6-cylinder Camaro. Those things are not that fast. You're not gonna outrun anybody in that. Oh, get him. Get him. Oh, you can't outrun nobody in that little thing. It's probably automatic too. Get out of here. You out of here, jabroni. All right, he's done. All right, yeah. Let me tell you, the time I was working at Pet Boys, and I joke you not, this guy came in with a 6-cylinder Camaro. Now these are the older 6-cylinders, where like the newer ones, like made after about 2010, 2011, they can have like around 300 horsepower. So they're not as fast as the 8-cylinders, obviously, but 300 horsepower is pretty fast. But the older ones, man, they were so slow. They were like a joke. And this guy, he came in the Pep Boys, and the complaint was, he's like, I just bought this Camaro, and it feels like it's not as fast as it should be. I was like, what? It's like, man, you missing 2 cylinders. But no, so I test drove it. It was shifting fine. I put the scanner on it. There was no codes. The fuel trims were fine. I was like, look, man, there's nothing wrong with this car. That's how fast it is. Did somebody tell you that this was an 8-cylinder? I don't know. Maybe he didn't know the difference between a 6 and an 8-speed cylinder, but or a 6-cylinder and an 8-cylinder. But yeah, that guy, and he had to pay $100 for that diag too, man. That's a shame. It wasn't up to me to charge him. I probably would have just let him go, but the shop wanted to charge him. Yeah, sometimes you think there's a problem and there's no problem. But here we go. Next story. Oh boy, this is a good one. U.S. dealers blast Stellantis CEO over disaster leadership. Oh my gosh, this is from autodrive.com. And this is a nightmare. The dealers for the Stellantis brands in the U.S. wrote an open letter to the CEO of Stellantis, Carlos Tavares. So let's look at this. All right. So the global auto titan, born from the 2021 merger of PSA Group and Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, the FCA, is catching heat from U.S. dealers. Stellantis American Dealership Network has slammed Tavares in an open letter, accusing him of steering the company into a disaster. So they pointed to his $40 million of earnings last year, and his leadership has led to the rapid degradation of key brands like Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler. So the numbers are not looking good, people. Jeep sales dropped 9% in the first half of 2024. Ram sales dropped 26%. Ouch. Chrysler slipped 8%. Dodge slipped 16%. So that is not good. But their European brands are going up a little bit. Fiat sales jumped 67%. So that's in Europe. Fiat sales are up, which doesn't really affect us. But guess how many cars they sold in the US? Fiat 360. That is terrible. Alfa Romeo went up 2%. So you guys, you got to see this letter. But well, I'm gonna read you the letter. But this is what Stellantis responded. The letter is vicious, but this is how they responded. At Stellantis, we don't believe that public personal attacks, such as the one in the open letter from NDC president against our CEO, are the most effective way to solve problems. We have started a path that will prove successful. We will continue to work with our dealers to avoid any public disputes that will delay our ability to deliver results. So they're saying that these public disputes are delaying their ability to deliver results. Really? How specifically does that delay your plan to deliver results? All right, let's look at this letter. This letter is vicious. You got to see this. This is crazy. An open letter to Mr. Carlos Tavares, CEO of Stellantis, 9/10/2024. We are writing this letter on behalf of the entire U.S. dealer network and its employees. The intent of this letter is to sound an alarm to not only you, but to the Stellantis board of directors, your employees, your investors, and your suppliers. Oh boy. For over 2 years now, the U.S. Stellantis National Dealer Council has been sounding this alarm to your U.S. executive team, warning that the course you had set for Stellantis in the U.S. was going to be a disaster in the long run. A disaster not just for us, but for everyone involved. And now this disaster has arrived. In 2023, you engineered a record year of profitability for Stellantis, earning you the title of the highest compensated automotive CEO. You personally earned a record amount of almost $40 million last year. Unfortunately, the engineering and structuring of that year have led us to exactly where we told your executives would be today. Oh my goodness. They are coming right at their neck. Hold on. I think they're writing this letter to try to get the board of directors to fire the CEO. But this is what they said. The reckless short-term decision making to secure record profits in 2023 has had devastating yet entirely predictable consequences in the U.S. market. These consequences include the rapid degradation of our iconic American brands such as Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Chrysler that have over a century of history in America. The market share of your brands has been slashed nearly in half. Stellantis stock price is tumbling, plants are closing, layoffs are rampant, and key executives fleeing the company. Yeah, that's the guy who fled Dodge. What was his name? Tim Kuniskis, the father of the Hellcat. He abandoned ship, and there were some other executives that abandoned ship. So this reminds me of working at a dealership. When you start seeing things going wrong, and then you're seeing people quit and go work at other dealerships, you're like, uh-oh, this ship is sinking, and maybe it's time to get off before I go down like the Titanic. All right, their letter continues. Investor lawsuits, supplier lawsuits, strikes. The fallout is mounting. Your own distribution network, your dealer body, has been left in an anemic and diminished state. So they're saying the dealerships are suffering. They're not selling cars. They're not making money. When the dealers don't sell cars, like they're losing money every day that cars sit on the lot because they take out loans to buy the car, and then every day it doesn't sell. That's like more interest you have to pay on that loan. So the letter continues. Unfortunately, these are just the consequences we feel today. The drastic market share downturn will have a long, lingering, painful fiscal impact on your parts manufacturing business for many years to come. Yeah, well, if you're not selling cars, you're not going to be selling parts either. The pain will not be confined to the company and its investors, your dealer network, their employees, your suppliers, most of all, your own workforce. Everyone will suffer the consequences of these disastrous choices. And this part is in bold that you know they mean business. The bill has come due for the decisions that you made to engineer those profits in 2023. And your attempt at a soft landing on the backs of your employees, your dealers, and your suppliers is frankly just wrong. We did not create this problem. The federal government did not create this problem. The UAW did not create this problem. And your employees did not create this problem. You created this problem. Oh my God. They should have put you in capital letters. That would have been cool. This program is only getting more expensive and worse with time. So we urge you to stop delaying and do the right thing now. All right. But this is where I don't understand this letter. But let's go ahead. What is the right thing? It is time to turn production back on and start selling our way back to a respectable market share. Get your employees, our employees, and your suppliers' employees back to work by building and selling cars that Americans want to buy and can afford. Let us clear out this old inventory now and get the plants working at full capacity. Yes, in the very short term, it will be painful for Stellantis, but mistakes at this level usually are. We do not want an apology or your resignation. Those do not put people back to work. We simply ask that you do the right thing, write the check, pay your bill, and let's move forward. Like, what are they talking about? Pay the bill? What bill? What are you talking about? I don't know what bill they're referring to. The U.S. National Dealer Council meeting is on October 15th in in the Auburn Hills headquarters. We hope to see you in attendance alongside your executives for a full day of work with your dealer council, working together to restore Stellantis and its brands to the great car company it rightfully deserves to be. Respectfully. All right. Well, I don't know how respectful that was, but that I guess was the point. What I don't understand is they just want them to start making more cars. How is that going to get them out of this predicament? They're not selling cars. Why would they start making a lot more cars now? They're going to make a bunch of cars that nobody wants to buy. I heard that this Dodge Hornet that they're making now, everybody hates that car. Like nobody wants to buy it, and they priced it way too high. But I don't understand. I understand what they're saying in this letter, except for the part where they says turn production back on. That's not the problem. I don't think that's the problem. The problem is, so I watch this guy sometimes. He's called Butter the Insider, and I think this guy has a lot of contacts, like that work at Stellantis and at other places in Michigan. I think he probably lives in Michigan, but yeah, he's a Dodge guy, and so he got all this inside information, I believe, and he's saying they they fired a bunch of engineers. They brought in a bunch of new engineers with H-1B visas, so they're from other countries, and they'll work for less usually, and they outsourced a lot of the engineering. And when the cars are coming down the line, some of them are coming out with problems. Like they have tests that they do on the vehicles as they come down the line, and they're failing the test. So they have to figure out what's wrong with them before they can send them to the dealership. And the vehicles, some of them are piling up. And the engineers, there are like a lot of them are new guys and they can't come up with fixes to see what's wrong. Like it's hard to come up with fixes like that fast sometimes because it could be a software issue that's causing the problem, or it could be a problem with parts that are being put on the line. Like maybe there's one little pin in the wiring harness that isn't hooked up right. So they got to do a lot of root cause analysis for these vehicles, and they sold out a lot of their brain power. A lot of their engineers are going. So I don't think it's the people on the line that are causing the problems. Like they were Stellantis or Dodge and Chrysler and them, they were making pretty good cars recently, like before the last couple years. Like they were like late in their production cycles, which is good for reliability. Like when you keep making the same thing over and over again for a long time, then obviously you get really good at it, and you work out all the problems that are there initially. Like they were making the Hemi for a while, so that became pretty good. Their transmissions were uh, well, they are still coming from a company called ZF. Is a German company, and they make good transmissions. So their transmissions were fine. Their engines were good. The Pentastar was, it was they made it for a while. It was getting pretty good. There's a couple problems with it, but they're not big deals. And so yeah, they were getting good. And then they started making all these different type of cars. They're trying to make these I6 engines. Now they were making them before, but I think they're trying to make them more. They're making a lot more of them at once. So there can be production problems in there too. So this guy having Amico Day channel says Mitsubishi Mirage, same car from 2012. Half of those parts were from older cars. Yeah. Well, when they're like reviewing cars and stuff at Consumer Reports, a lot of times they trash model. Well, they don't trash them, but they talk down on them when after they've been making them for a while. Like they have, they'll they'll be like, "Oh, this ancient powertrain, it doesn't have the newest engine. Oh, it doesn't. This transmission is old. How come it's not new like this other company?" Like that's new car reviews. But the thing is, once you've been making something for a while, that's when you want it. Like that's when they really get good at it. Like anybody can get, not anybody, but a lot of OEMs, even if they're not that good, if they keep making the same thing for a while, it's going to start to get good at the end. So yeah, and yeah, the Mitsubishi Mirage is a reliable death trap. I do agree with that. I've been saying that for a while. It's just so little. It's too little. You can't little cars, especially in America. If you get in an accident, you're gonna be crushed. Like you're gonna be crushed into a paste. Like there's gonna be no open casket. They're just gonna put you into a tube of toothpaste somewhere. Well, yeah, Toyota. Yeah, I just did a story on Toyota. What is that? So anyway, yeah. So to in this Stellantis story, yeah, they're in big trouble, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of it. The dealership network, think, I don't know if hmm, they might have. I'm not sure if they're right about him purposefully trying to up his bonus or his pay or whatever for that 1 year. Yeah, that could or it might that may or may not be true. But their solution of just paying their bill, I don't know what they mean. Did Stellantis owe the dealerships money? Is that what they want? I don't know. But yeah, that solution is not gonna help just making more cars. If nobody's buying them, you're gonna make more of them for. They're gonna make more of those electric Dodges. I don't think a lot of people wanna buy those. But yeah, Amico Day channel. Oh, sorry. I accidentally hit the wrong button. Let me go back to present. Present. There we go. All right, so we were talking about Toyota earlier. The Toyota Tacoma transmission problems, but they have a fix for them. They put out a TSB. If you have one of these 6 DTCs, they are going to give you a brand new transmission. There you go. Toyota Tacoma with the 2.4-liter turbocharged engine. Get out of here, Ed. All right. Yeah. Technical service bulletin. Tacoma models. If you show one of these 6 fault codes, the entire transmission and torque converter assembly will be changed. Why don't they say torque converter? I don't know. But yeah, there you go. The Toyota Tacoma transmissions will be replaced. So remember the Tundra, they had to replace the engines, and the hybrid, they're replacing the transmissions. Yeah, and I showed this earlier. This is a mechanic with no arms. Look at that. He's fixing stuff with no arms. Can you believe this? Yeah, that is Dennis Kravchenko, if you want to check out his Instagram. Look at that with the fine touch. That is a good job, man. So yeah, this is what you missed earlier. And then we started talking about Toyota's plug-in hybrids will have hopefully about 120 miles of range. That's pretty cool. They're going to be putting new batteries in them. Then we saw rate was that a chase. The cop was chasing this guy. It looked like a 6-cylinder Camaro. And then the next story is the CEO of Stellantis. The dealers wrote him a letter telling them how terrible they think he is. But they're just they're accusing him of sacrificing the brand for his own $40 million salary, which I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. But their solution is to start making more cars, and that's not the problem. They're making cars. The problem is they don't sell. Well, yeah. Toyota will be okay if they fix their stuff, but Dodge, Jeep, Ram is done. Well, people have said that they were done before and then they came back. I did work there for a little while. And I will tell you, the people on the line and the engineers, they know what they're doing, but it looks like Stellantis fired a lot of their engineers and brought in people from other countries to work cheaper. So that's not going to be good. Maybe they could hire them back. I think they need to get a new CEO, to be honest. The dealers talking about they want to work with them, but I mean, it's not really up to them. I think they wrote that letter to try to influence the board of directors to get rid of him, but they kind of phrased it in a way to where they didn't want to make him that much of an enemy. I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. How could they fix him? Well, number one, they need a new CEO. I wish they could have Tim Kuniskis come back and just be the CEO for all of Dodge, and then they could get back to profitability, hopefully. Their powertrains, I would bring back the Hemi. I would bring back the Hemi and try to see if they can get a ECVT transmission, like the one that Toyota and Ford have, and GM has one too. Actually, it's a little bit different. If they could get an ECVT transmission, at least to go with the automatic version of the Hemi for their trucks, and I guess some people would like them for some of their other vehicles. Then I think that would help to solve their miles per gallon problem with the EPA. So maybe they wouldn't have to buy credits. They got to get rid of that Dodge Hornet. That thing is terrible. Nobody likes it. It's really, I think it's an Alfa Romeo, and yeah, nobody likes that. It's way too expensive. I would bring back the Dodge Neon. I think that car has a little bit of a cult following, at least for car guys like the SRT version of it. My friend Angry McNerdy Face has one of those. He loves that thing. It's like a four-cylinder turbo. It handles pretty well. It's super light. It's not super light, but it's kind of light. Yeah, and if you could bring that back, I think that could cause some excitement. And then if you could have do they have any good four cylinders? I don't know if they're Fiat four cylinder. I think they use like a four cylinder from Fiat in some of their cars. I don't know if that's good or not. But yeah, they gotta lower their prices. They gotta get some powertrains, bring some cars out that people are excited about. Um, I don't think a lot of people are excited about the new Charger. They hate it. The dealerships were overbuying cars and putting them as fleets, but now the dealerships want refunds. Yo, is that the check they were talking about? They wanted Stellantis to write a check. They just want their check. Yeah, I heard a little bit about that, but yeah, man, dealerships, they're always got some shenanigans going. $80,000. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those Hellcats and Scat Packs, very expensive. Toyota's still in the 30 to $60,000 range. No way they will exist with that pricing in the depression. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at getting a Toyota Camry, and they're starting at like 30,000, and they're all hybrids. But yeah, that's for a Camry, that seems like as a reasonable price in today's economy. But good luck getting a Charger for $30,000. That ain't gonna happen. But the Dodge Neon for about 1 month in 2008 during the bailouts had a lifetime powertrain. It would be pretty good with a 5 or 6 speed. Yeah. Yeah, I think you could bring the Dodge Neon back. Wait, what do we need? We need a small car starting at about probably 21 or 23,000. If you could get it under 20, that'd be great. Maybe just the regular version could be about 20,000 for entry level Neon. And then for the SRT, the fast one, maybe that could be about 24, 25,000. And then it could compete with the Corolla GR. It could be kind of a competition for that. And tell you, if you let the old school Dodge engineers, who they probably fired half of them by now, you let them come up with a Neon that like that, they could come up with something good. So we need a new Neon. What else? We need a Charger, but one that's the entry level one needs to be less expensive. Like the Charger now is only the inline six turbo, and that's expensive. Like that starts at a lot of money. They used to have the Charger start, it was like under 30,000 for the six cylinder Pentastar. What happened to the Pentastar? I like that engine. Like they had gotten the hang of making it. I mean, they had a couple problems with the oil cooler housing that's in the valley that leaked. But according to online mechanic tips, he's a mechanic that I watch on YouTube. He works at a Dodge dealer. He says the newest part number fixed that problem. So, and the rocker arms would cause a tick. He's saying the newest part number fixed that problem. So you got the engine, it's pretty good fuel economy. People were buying it. Let that be the entry level that people could start at. You get them into the Dodge brand, you get them into the Dodge family. They just starting at the highest level, like, and then I don't think anybody wants to buy the Dodge Charger EV. Like, Dodge guys really don't like it. I think there'll be a few people that buy it at first, but we'll see. I mean, I hope it sells for the people that work there, but I don't know. Nobody seems to like it. I know it's super heavy, and then they put in like a top speed restriction, which is kind of taking all the fun out the car. The government probably made them do that because they're always outrunning the cops with those cars, and which is not even it's not funny. It's super dangerous, but yeah, that's kind of taking some of the fun out of it. I don't know. I think they could use like a good crossover. I think like something about the size of the CRV and RAV4, like a four cylinder for that. But yeah, like, they need some more smaller cars. They need to get with Ford. Ford knows how to make cars that people like. At least that the Maverick, people love that car. Let's see. Those Toyota Scout trucks would be killer in the US market. Nobody would buy anything else because it would be right at 20K. Oh, they ain't gonna start that at 20K. A Toyota Scout truck. Let me see. What is that? I'm gonna look that up. I think that's like a smaller little pickup. Let's see. All right, we'll talk about the Fisker Ocean in a minute. Hold on, I want to present a different screen. "2025 Toyota Scout Revival. Everything we know so far." All right, so this article was posted in June of 2023, so it's a little old. But they may revive a classic nameplate, the Toyota Scout, for an upcoming entrant into the compact pickup truck segment against the Ford Maverick, Hyundai Santa Cruz, and potentially the Ram Rampage. Oh, there it is. So let's see, they're saying maybe in the next 3 years, light commercial vehicle segment. It would be smaller and more affordable than the Helix. That's like a pickup truck. I think they sell a lot of those in Australia. And the people in Australia love those things. I have never seen one in the US. So, the historical nameplates are big business in the automotive industry, with names like Bronco, Maverick, Trailblazer, and more being revived to great acclaim in recent years. Toyota allegedly trademarked the name Scout with Argentinian intellectual property officials late last year, with added further flames to rumors of its revival. Added further flames to rumors of its revival. Oh, what a sentence. The Toyota nameplate was last used in the year 2000 with the third generation Scout when the third generation Scout ended production after a 21-year run. Before this, the first generation Scout was produced from 1954 to 1960. The second generation was from 1960 to 1978. This was a predecessor to both the Helix and Tacoma. With those two icons growing in size, now there's a spot open in the lineup for a smaller Toyota to enter the fray. All right. So this is what it used to look like. Oh, okay. Well, this is like a little pickup truck. Toyota. All right. So likely be a unibody pickup truck sharing underpinnings with crossovers like the RAV4. The TNGAK platform with front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive as available drivetrains. All right, well, maybe you will get your Toyota Scout. See, look, Toyota will be aiming for parity with the blue oval smallest truck. That means a starting price in the region of 24,000. See, I told you. They ain't gonna start that at 20,000. The heftier price of 35,000. Yeah, yeah, that would because the Maverick is about 23, 24 to start. Well, yeah, that'll be fine. While comments out of South Africa suggest an arrival in 2025 or 2026, we suspect Toyota will confirm more details and being shown teasers and or concepts in 2024. 2024 Scout isn't out of the question, but we don't anticipate its arrival that soon. Yeah. So we're in 2024 now. So yeah, that would be cool. Let's see. That could happen. That would be cool. Because people, I think they need cars that are less expensive. A lot of people, I mean, the recession, or I don't know, is this even a recession? This is kind of like the great inflation period. And people, they don't have a lot of money to spend on cars. So these manufacturers are so idiotic. If they spent like 200 more in engine materials, it would be reliable beyond belief. And it's only $200. Nickel and diming engineering is not smart. $200. I don't think that's gonna help. How is $200 gonna get you more reliability? Reliability is it's a very it's a very big topic, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult to just say we're going to make the car more reliable by spending $200 more in parts. It's funny. When I interviewed at Toyota, they asked me that question. I said, what would you do to make Toyotas more reliable?" So I had like the really long answer, but the first part of the answer is how do you quantify reliability? Like I didn't ask them to do that, but I said, first you had to put your finger on what you mean by more reliable. Because when things go down the production line, they go through a process. Like they might say, okay, first drill this hole and then make a chamfer for this hole and then paint it and then apply the rust proofing, like whatever the process is, just going down the line. And for every so often, they will like examine to see if that part is within spec. So, okay, is the hole is exactly how big you want it to be, right? But even you can never say it could be exactly one dimension. So let's say we want this hole to be 30 millimeters, right? But you can never say exactly 30 millimeters because the more exact you measure something is never going to be exactly 30. So it might be there, you might have a tolerance between 30 and or 29.5 and 30.5. All right. So it's got to be within that window. Anyway, long story short, reliability, I would improve it by what I said I would improve reliability would be to first quantify what you mean by reliability. And then I would say we should try to raise each model up to meet that standard. Whatever standard is the highest, like let's say if the Corolla we measured and it had the best reliability, and say, well, let's try to get every vehicle up to that standard because we know that we can meet that. And then I would do that same process with everything, with the engine, the transmission, the each part, And then you got to understand that each OEM doesn't make every single part that's on the car. They don't even make most of them. They might make the engine, transmission, body, but somebody else usually making a lot of parts. A lot of other parts are made. The modules are made by other people sometime, or wire and harness might be made by another company. And then, so what Toyota does is they'll monitor their suppliers that are making those parts too. Like they'll monitor them very closely. So you got to monitor yourself, try to get everybody in every model up to that level. You got to monitor your suppliers. Then you also have to look at your competition to benchmark them to make sure they're not surpassing you. So yeah, it's so much more complicated than just spending a little bit more. Now, I do agree with you a little bit. There are some parts that they could spend more on that would make cars more reliable. For example, the S belt, the S belt tensioner on my 2017 Camry. If you look at it, it is a lot smaller and less robust than the one on my 2004 Camry. Now, my 2004 Camry, I didn't change the S belt tensioner until like 180,000 miles. And I only changed it because I changed the S belt itself. The S belt got old at that amazing amount of mileage. And so I said I should change the tensioner and the belt at the same time, right? And I took the S belt tensioner out, and it is huge. It's like this big. It's got a big hydraulic strut on it that's applying. Or actually, is it hydraulic? I know there's a huge spring inside that strut. I don't know if there's any hydraulics in there, but yeah, it's like this big. And the one on my new Camry is like it's like wimpy. It's like hefty, 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 wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. So I know it's not going to last 180,000 miles. I think that tensioner could have lasted even longer, but all right, that was a long, nerdy definition. Anyway, yeah, reliability is not easy. It is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And even Toyota's is the best at it. And they had a couple problems this year too. So, they gotta get back on the ball, and I think they'll be all right. They have the processes in place. So they just gotta get back on the ball. Yeah. Yeah, that tensioner is no joke. But yeah, but I mean, even the Tundra problem was a manufacturing. They said they accidentally got manufacturing debris in the engine. So that's a production problem. Like that's not going to be solved with an extra $200 part. It was just an accident. It looks like. I mean, they're human still. So yeah, you make accidents, but looks like they're cleaning up their messes right now. All right, let's go to the next story. Where is the next story? Speaking of gigantic accidents, the Fisker Ocean owners are forced to pay for their own recall. This is a disaster. Now, we talked about Toyota and how hard it is to get something to be reliable. This is a prime example of even though Toyota made a couple mistakes, Fisker made, in my opinion, probably one of the worst cars ever made. They're going bankrupt. But the article from The Drive states Fisker will supply the parts for free, but customers will have to pay for labor at certified service centers if they could find any. Oh my gosh. This is article came out on September 16th, 2024. He said it's hard not to feel bad for Fisker's early customers. They bought the hype of Fisker's automotive revival, put money down to reserve a build slot, and then paid for brand new upstart electric vehicle. Then, in what felt like 5 minutes later, the company went bankrupt and customers lost all of their maintenance support. Now, Fisker seems to be doubling down on Ocean customers' pain by forcing them to pay for their own recall fees. Ouch. There are 5 recalls for the 2023 to 2024 Fisker Ocean models. These are some of the recalls: an unexpected reduction in regenerative braking, an electric water pump failure. That's not good. Door handles that can fail to open from the inside in case of an emergency. God, you can't get out of the car that the door handles won't open from the inside. That is a disaster. You're going to get trapped in the car. Incorrectly displayed warning lights, a potential loss of drive power. Good. All 5 recalls increase the risk of a crash or injury. Oh my God. Okay, recalls happen, and Fisker is far from the only company to have potentially dangerous ones. The problem is that customers not only have to pay to fix them, but they aren't even sure how to. Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. You can't get out of the door handles won't open. Aren't door handles just supposed to be a mechanical connection? They put electric door handles on the inside of the. Is that what they did? So the electric water pump fails. Yeah, so obviously the cars are electric, but they still need a water pump. They have to circulate coolant to keep the batteries cool, right? And I think they also use them for the HVAC. So yeah, if you don't keep the battery cool, the battery could overheat, and then it will definitely lose. It could it could go bad, and hopefully it won't catch on fire. Hopefully. Unexpected reduction in regenerative braking. Then they got lights, incorrectly displayed warning lights. Are you kidding me? Like so what is going on? Like the check engine light will come on, but it'll really be like the door ajar light, and they got them mixed up on the display. This is the biggest disaster in history. This is ridiculous. So, after Fisker went bankrupt, all the remaining unsold Ocean SUVs were bought by American Lease, which was supposed to handle software updates and recalls for existing and future customers. However, Fisker just issued a statement to customers explaining the nature of the recalls and how they'll be handled. According to Fisker, the company will issue a list of authorized service centers to customers by the end of September 2024. So, the end of this month, they're supposed to get a list of authorized service centers. Customers will have to take their cars to those service centers for physical inspections and, if necessary, have any problematic parts replaced. But Fisker only covers the cost of the parts themselves. Customers will have to pay for the inspections and labor. Oh my God, this is a nightmare. And for that inconvenience, Fisker says it's super sorry. Okay. As long as you said you're sorry, everything is okay, Fisker. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. We understand that this may be an additional burden, and we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Our priority remains your safety. Yeah, right. And the reliability. You didn't have any reliability to begin with. How is it going to be continually reliable? We are working diligently to make the process as smooth as possible despite the current challenges. Oh gosh. So in the meantime, Fisker is telling customers to just keep an eye on their car. Keep an eye on it. How is that going? Make sure it's not catching on fire, or the electric water pump not circulating coolant to the battery. If they experience any issues with the door handles or water pumps, contact an authorized service center immediately. Which service centers should they contact? Fisker didn't provide the list yet. However, there's a contact phone number in the recall notice that customers could call. When you call the number, though, it tells you to visit the company's contact page. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I I hate to say I told you so, but I remember I told Dane. Me and Dane were talking about this on another video, and Nissan was talking about buying Fisker, and Dane was like, "Yeah, maybe Nissan. Maybe they could buy Fisker. Maybe they could use that in their. They could use that electric SUV." And I was like, "Dane, do not buy Fisker. You just Fisker is like a sinking ship, and you do not want to be on that. I mean, that'd be like jumping on the Titanic as it's going down. Be like, oh, maybe I could fix this. Like you can't fix Fisker. Fisker is a disaster. You know what happened? You know what I think? The owner or CEO, I don't know if he's the owner and the CEO, but Henry Fisker, I think his name is. He's a designer. So he was designing beautiful cars for other OEMs, and then he started his own. But the thing is, you gotta know this. Like you see how I was just talking about processes and statistical controls and stuff like that to make cars more reliable. That's like the way an engineer's brain works, or kind of like half engineer, half mechanic. But that's how my brain works, right? I could think about stuff like that all day. And I swear to God to you, if I was the CEO of Fisker, I would have never let that car come out. Because number one, how do you not know that it's that bad? I would have had these cars being tested, okay? Road test. Well, I guess you don't need the dyno. I guess you could dyno test the electric powertrain and stuff, but it doesn't seem like those things are wrong. When you do the road test, though, also you have to test out all the electronics inside of the car, all the Bluetooth and all the different features. Um, when I know one of the YouTubers did a review of that car, and he's reviewing this, and he used to review cell phones, and he had a lot of problems with the car that he didn't like, and people were in the comments like, "How can you review a car? Used to reviewing cell phones. You don't know what you're talking about." But that guy, I forget his name right now, but he ended up being 100% right because he was the first one that said, "This car is a disaster." He said, "This is the worst car I've ever reviewed." And everybody was all mad at him. But you can understand these cars are like cell phones now. A lot of the problems with this car are software related. Now, how is somebody with a designer's brain going to be able to navigate fixing those problems? You know, he's just going to be like, oh, well, just come out with it. We'll fix it later. It's just a software issue. But software issues are everything now, especially in an electric car. That is so important. It's everything. Now look, you got check engine lights coming, you got the wrong lights coming on. We got the regenerative braking not working, electric water pumps not working. You can't get out of the car. The door handles won't let you out of the car. There were so many other problems that reviewer, he was saying the rear view camera wasn't working. It would come on and then go off. When you get close to the car, the door is supposed to open because it could sense your key. That would work when it wants to. Everything is software related. So so yeah, like I could never design a beautiful car like he could. I'm sure he could design, or he has designed extremely beautiful cars. But it's not just about beauty. It's about all these nerdy nuts and bolts, making sure things are done properly, engineering mindset problems. And did he have an engineer that would at that company that would tell him, be like, "Look, you can't come out with this. This is a disaster." Or, "Look, we have to test this." No, he probably apparently not. Apparently he didn't, either nobody told him or he didn't listen. But either way, it was a disaster, an absolute disaster. This problem with these, I think part of the problem is, so in a car, like you have all these different modules that do different things. Like you might, in the typical car, you might have one for the anti-lock brakes, and then you have the one for the PCM is controlling the fuel injectors and the coil plugs. Well, not in this case, it's electric car, but so you might have one controlling the drive unit, and one controlling the battery coolant circulating, or the electric water pump that we talked about. And then we'll have another computer that is in charge of body things. Like we might have one for the backup camera, and then one that could sense when the key is close to you. Now, every computer has like its own uh, ECU and its own set of instructions, and it takes in information and then it spits out other information based on what's inside the computer. The problem is with some of these things is it'll be in a different language. Like one computer might be running on Java, and then one computer is running on the Fortran, one computer is running on Python, and then one is running on um, like one might be running on something else, C plus plus. I don't know. These are all old languages, but whatever. A lot of them are running on different languages. And they're all connected on a network, so, and all it is just a couple wires, and then they twist them, so they don't like cancel each other out or whatever. So everything, all those little modules are connected through this, and they just send all data. So that way, they do that so that there could be less wires, believe it or not. Because if that weren't the case, every sensor would have to have a wire going to every module. So this way they could just have, let's say, ABS sensor. It'll go to the ABS module, but then that data will be shared with every other module on the network. I know this is real nerdy. I'm sorry, but so all these different modules are talking in all different languages. And the problem is, if you find a problem in one module, you can update the code on that module, but then you got to let everybody else, every other manufacturer that made a module, know that you've made an update. And then they have to run a bunch of tests to make sure that your update won't mess up their problem. So I think that is what happened with this Fisker. We have, like we talked about, there are a lot of different manufacturers and suppliers for different parts. And I think probably what happened is they're not able to make changes without everybody approving those changes. It's a very difficult thing, and it takes a long time. So I think they didn't get it done, and they said bring out the car anyway. And now they can't fix it. They can't they can't fix everything. I don't think they're ever going to be able to fix that car. I think NHTSA should just take all those cars off the road with all those problems. These are all safety problems. These are all serious safety problems. They should just recall every car and crush it. That's what they should do with that car. It is not safe to be on the road, and I'm sick of it. And I'm telling you, I had an interview at Fisker, and I'll tell you more about it once they're all completely out of business. But I'll just tell you this: it was a nightmare. And I said to myself, I'm never going to work here. I do not want to work here. It was a disaster. Ugh. Even now, as the carcass of Fisker gets picked over, the EVs still have niggling problems: window cracks, dysfunctional key fobs, sudden connectivity blackouts. Yeah. Like, I took a couple programming classes, so I'm not really good at it because I never really had to do it other than those classes. But my friend Ben, he's a software engineer, and he could probably give you more nerdy information on why exactly the Fisker Ocean is the biggest nightmare on the road. I don't know. What is worse, the Fisker Ocean or the Mitsubishi Mirage? Oh no, they're both terrible. All right, let's get away from Fisker. Did I have any other stuff? Oh yeah, I had one more thing I wanted to show you guys. Where did it go? All right, I gotta find that. There was one I wanted to do: used car of the week. Used car of the week, you guys. I'm always shopping for used cars, like for myself. Like I'm always wanting to buy another car. I just like cars, so I like to window shop a lot. And I found an amazing used car. And this is my used car of the week. Let me bring that up for you. This is used car of the week from MJ 100K. This is a 2019 Lexus ES Hybrid 300H luxury four-wheel drive. $23,881. This could be all yours. Look at this thing, you guys. I want you to see this. So this has the 2.5 liter hybrid engine. Now this is basically the same engine that's in the Camry right now. You know how they made the Camry all hybrid now? This is a 2.5 liter hybrid. I think they started it off in this 2019 Lexus, and now it's in the Camry. But look how beautiful. Look at this. Look how beautiful this car is. Now these people aren't sponsoring me, but I just like used cars, so I'm gonna show it anyway. Look how beautiful this is. I want you to see the interior in a minute. This is the luxury version. So this is the high, and I think there's an ultra luxury that's a little bit higher than this, but yeah. Look how beautiful this car is. I think it is so beautiful. So this one's made in Japan. Look at this interior. I love this interior. I haven't seen a lot of them with this interior. Look how it's got the wood trim. I just like the color. It's got 101,000 miles. I think this car has a lot more life left in it. Look at it. So you got the heated and cooled seats. I don't think this one has the Mark Levinson sound system. I think that's an ultra luxury, but it's still a good sound system. Look how nice that is. This is $24,000, you guys. Look at this. This is the same exact buttons in my Camry. My 2017 Camry. I don't have these buttons though. This has like a forward collision alert, I guess, and lane departure warning. Look at this. I like this interior. I love it. What y'all think about this? A lot of people don't like this touchpad, but it's not so bad. I think you could control a lot of this stuff just with the steering wheel buttons anyway. Over 100,000 on the odometer and over 20 grand. It's pretty, but I wouldn't touch it. Ah, this is 100,000 on a Lexus, my friend. This car is just waking up. I believe this car could probably get to 400 G's, 400,000. I saw a RAV4 hybrid. I got a video on that. 400, I think it was 460,000 miles. Original engine, original battery, original transmission. And I was able to pull up the Carfax because it was for sale actually. And I saw the Carfax, the person oil change like a clock every 10,000 miles. Perfect customer. Now, I'm an automotive nerd. If I was to buy this car, I would look at the Carfax, make sure somebody take care of it, at least doing their oil changes every 10K. I think think it has an ECVT transmission. Does that have even I think it has a little bit of gear oil in it. I gotta check to see if you could even change that. But yeah, I think this one's just getting started. A lot of Lexuses could get 300K with no trouble. Yeah, as long as they're not that new six-cylinder twin turbo. We gotta look at the powertrain. We gotta break it down just from the OEM. Let's look at the powertrain. Then we gotta look at the customer before you. Then we can get to 300K, 400K. See, that's why I think this is my used car of the week. Let's see. Any more pictures? Look, it's beautiful. Now, most of them don't have this interior color scheme, and I love it. Like, a lot of them just have this wood part will be black, and so it'll be black on black. And to me, that's just is too dark. I wanted to be a little bit of color in there. But yeah, look how much room in there. See, the Lexus ES is very similar to the Camry, but it has a longer wheelbase, a little bit, maybe 3 or 4 inches longer. So that's why you get more room in the rear. Look at you. Got the shade in the back. So yeah, that is why I like. This is why you are used car of the week. Look how beautiful you are with your ECVT transmission, your Lexus hybrid drive. You have everything that I need. Used car of the week. I want you in my garage right now. Oh my gosh, I gotta get that. So I'm not in the market right now, but I was thinking about getting this one, man. I'm not gonna get it right now, but maybe next year. Maybe because I was thinking about getting the new Camry, but then when I saw this, I'm thinking I could get a brand new Camry for 30,000, or I could get a used ES hybrid for 24,000. And I think that if I make sure the previous owner is really good, and I'm gonna take care of it, right? I'm not gonna change the oil every 10,000 miles. I'm doing now. I've always done 5,000 miles, but now I do a drain and fill every 2,500. Of course, Mobile One full synthetic, high mileage. Drain and fill that, and then at 5,000, I'll change the filter and drain the engine at 5,000. And I drive it super, super smooth, super easy. I think I could I could get this car to 400,000. And plus, I've been trying to study up and get my hybrid certifications and my EV car certifications. So I am comfortable that I will be able to, if there's a problem with this, that I'll just change the hybrid battery myself, or you know, I could fix all the hybrid stuff myself. But I gotta continuously learn, and I'm excited about it. Don't be too greedy. I think King Solomon in all his glory would be over the moon if he had a Yugo. Yeah, yeah, would he? Yeah, I guess King Solomon. There were no cars back then, so he would like a. I think he'd like a Yugo if he had to live in his time. But if he were living in today's time, I don't think he'd want a Yugo. But look, I'm not being greedy. This is 23,000. I think how much was my Camry? I think my Camry was like 21. I forget. It was between 20 and 22. So this is only a little bit more than my 2017 Camry. And yeah, my Camry had about 100,000 miles on it. Yeah, I remember somebody in the comments was saying It's like, why would you get a Toyota when you could just get like a 4 or 5 year old Lexus? And I was like, well, it depends on the model, but I think for this one, it's a tough choice, you guys. 2019 Lexus luxury four-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or a 2025 Camry for 30,000. What would you get? What would you get? Get the new Camry. You shouldn't have any issues with it. With the Lexus, you never know. They are great, but never know. Yeah, but you gotta remember, I can fix issues myself. I'm gonna get so to work on hybrid cars. I've gotten one. There's two EV certifications with ASC just for working on them. One of them is for just somebody who will be in contact with them, but not actually work on them. So that's like a safety cert. And then the second one is for people that work on them. So last weekend I got the first one. I passed that one. And I did learn a little something while I was studying. So the second one I'm studying for now. And I think I'll probably take it, probably not this weekend, but next weekend. So I'm gonna get those two. And then I'm gonna research my ASC for electrical. Then I'm gonna research no, I'm gonna do the research for electrical. And then there's a new one that's called L3 is for hybrid and electric cars. So I'm gonna try to take that one. And then there's one for ADAS, which is like uh, automotive driver assistance systems. So that's like the forward collision assist, like the sensors. And there's like sensors in the front here near the grill. And then there's sensors back here, like so you'll see if you're backing up into something. So yeah, me get all those ASCs. So I believe I'll be able to work on them myself. Uh, you need to get special gloves. There's special gloves, and then there's gloves you put on top of the gloves. So, so yeah, you get those gloves, and then you gotta get a digital multimeter that could go up to 1,000 volts. And then there are a lot of procedures to de-energize the battery. Well, not a lot of procedures. There's usually like a shut off somewhere. But yeah, I'm gonna be learning about all that stuff. So excuse me. So yeah, it might be fun to have this. If something does break, it might be fun to fix it. And I'm gonna fix it. I'm not taking it to the dealer. Spend an extra and have an upholstery shop with plush leather. Yeah, yeah, that I agree with you on. Um, yeah, I know a lot of car washes that do detailing and they charge a lot, but they know what they're doing. So I would probably take it to them. Yeah, I'm not doing that part. I'm not doing everything. But yeah, I would definitely get a car wash membership for this one so I could take it to the car wash once or twice a week, keep it in good shape. But yeah, that's what we got for you today. That was today's show. Uh, unless you guys got any other questions, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta work tomorrow. I had the day off, but I gotta work tomorrow. And I'm gonna be studying for my ASC certification so I can fix hybrid cars. I'm just was a mechanic and I'm tired of being like, oh, there's cars out there that I wouldn't think that I'll be confident in fixing. So I'm gonna get my certs. I'm gonna fix everything. I don't care. Electric, hybrid. I'll even fix a hydrogen car if they ever make more than three of them. So when I was at Honda, I had to search to fix the natural gas cars. Like they have tests you could take online at Honda. when you were a mechanic, and I did all the tests for the natural gas. I was like the only tech on the East Coast with those certs, but I don't know. I didn't get lucky. None of the natural gas cars came in to get fixed. What about Amish wagons? They're on the road sometimes. I'll fix the Amish wagon. They probably could. I probably had to learn a little bit from them, like about woodworking and stuff. Yeah, I'll fix that. I want to fix everything. I want to fix everything in the whole world. You ever see old interviews from Mike Tyson, like when he was coming up and he was just destroying everybody after one of his fights? He told the interviewer, they're like, Tyson, you're knocking out everybody. He's like, I just want to fight, 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 and destruct the world. That's how I feel. I just want to fix, 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 and fix every car in the whole world. All right, yeah, but we'll see. I'll be here. Can't fix a Fisker. Yeah. You know what I had to do? I had to call my friend Ben, and maybe he could figure out how to make all these modules play nice with each other. Man, I think you need a team of software engineers to fix that car, to get all those modules to talk to each other properly. All right, dude. See you later, man. We're gonna be back on Sunday. Dane should be back on if he's not hunting deer, and we'll be on and again Thursday. So come on back through. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good one.